Did you know that 80% of SaaS companies are considering dynamic pricing models for 2025? But is dynamic pricing a game changing opportunity or a risky threat? Let's talk about it. SaaS pricing is evolving, becoming more complex as companies explore new strategies to stay competitive and maximize growth. Today, we'll navigate the complexities of modern SaaS pricing, dynamic models, localization, discounting, subscription fatigue. How many of you have that? And even the ethics of price differentiation. So, what do you think the future of SaaS pricing will look like? And how do we get it right today and tomorrow? So, what is dynamic pricing? That may be a new term for some of you, but essentially, it is where prices adjust in real time based on demand, usage, or market conditions. For example, server costs may be higher during the day versus at night, or more on weekdays than weekends, that kind of thing. It's kind of like Uber or Lyft surge pricing. You probably experienced that. You're at a big event, you want an Uber, and the prices are crazy, or airport, and it's lower at other times. So it fluctuates based on demand. I hear Burger King is maybe experimenting with this. So different price will operate, did peak or off peak times. So it seems kind of weird to me. But lots and lots of pricing experiments across industries. It's not just SaaS. And on the surface, sometimes I think it offers some exciting potential, just like the server cost. But is does that make more sense? I don't know. Tailored pricing, greater revenue optimization, and increased flexibility for sure. But I think it also presents some risks. Unpredictable pricing can confuse or frustrate customers, erode trust. Similarly, expanding globally, there's new challenges in that. Companies need localized pricing strategies that reflect different economic realities and purchasing behaviors across regions. So, how do you manage that? These shifts introduce new complexities that, if we don't manage carefully, can create friction rather than opportunity. So, let's go deeper on this. When we look at dynamic pricing, kind of the balance of flexibility and trust. Now, dynamic pricing can definitely optimize revenue by adjusting to customer behavior or market changes, but transparency is key. We're even seeing that in the electric market, free nights and weekends for electricity. It's like, that's kind of weird. Businesses pay more during the day. People, consumers pay more during the day. A lot of us, at least we used to be in the office, not using as much at home, and then freer, or lower cost nights and weekends. So it takes advantage of a dynamic usage based pricing, just like the AWS example I gave earlier. But at the same time, it has to provide clear documentation and pricing calculators so customers know exactly what to expect. I mean, surprises aren't great. And the key lesson here, I think, is that flexibility is great if customers can trust the system. I personally kind of hate dynamic pricing. I just want to know what it costs and I want to know what that value is. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you're thinking about this, I want to have you as a guest on the show and kind of talk about dynamic pricing and how you're using it today. The second is pricing and localization for global markets. As SaaS companies expand internationally, one size fits all pricing model, it just doesn't work. We've seen that as companies are going into, Canada, or they're going into Mexico or South America. Very, very different pricing models. Different pricing model in Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Africa, EMEA. I mean, there's so many places where you really need localized pricing because it has to adapt to economic conditions, local purchasing power, and the idea is you want to get in there and drive adoption for new markets. Netflix, for example, adjusts subscription pricing across countries based on regional income levels. And so it ensures affordability while maintaining profitability globally. YouTube has done that. And what's interesting is there are hacks where you can go and you can get a YouTube premium account for like $1 in some South American country. But then Google finds out and they shut your account down. So there are a lot of challenges with globalization of pricing, and then arbitrage between markets. How do we deal with that? Third is role of discounting in SaaS sales. We're going to talk about discounts. Talked about some of that on Tuesday. We'll do it again today. And discounts are often necessary to close deals, but they need to be strategic. Time limited discounts or incentives tied to longer term contracts can increase customer lifetime value. It's a good thing. But overuse of discounts can devalue your product. Leading with discounts can definitely devalue your product. Now, the most successful SaaS companies use discounts sparingly to reward early commitment or maybe upsell opportunities without eroding the perceived value of their offering. Another way is standing out in a saturated market. Subscription fatigue. I talked about that. That is absolutely real. Who else is tired of having like 100 subscriptions? And I think at last count, we had something along those lines. It's unbelievable. The customers today are overwhelmed by countless SaaS options overall in the market, plus all the ones that we already bought that we're paying monthly subscriptions on or annual subscriptions. I even forget about those sometimes. The offering flexible plans like pay as you go or annual discounts can help differentiate your product and reduce friction. Yeah, if there's a discount for annual, but then when I buy annual and the product is garbage, then I'm really not happy for a year and got to switch. And but it's not about just offering lower prices, but providing more value and choice to your ideal clients. And finally, the ethics of price differentiation. As pricing becomes more dynamic and personalized, it really gives rise to some ethical concerns. Is it differentiation or discrimination? How do you ensure fairness across customers while offering tailored solutions? Early stage startups, there are companies out there that offer, free, as long as you're early stage and like less than 5 people or something like that, or maybe it's free for 3 months or 6 months. Price differentiation, uh, lower prices for nonprofits. We do this. Yeah, and I've got another business I'm an investor in where we actually have a product like $25, and we give it to first responders, police, firefighters, public servants, teachers, military. It's free for them. So, it can be a positive force for sure, but transparency is critical to maintain trust and avoid alienating customers who feel like they're unfairly charged or that they're going to be penalized. If it's a startup thing and I grow, now I'm going to be penalized for using this thing. So, how do we balance those ethical considerations with price differentiation? The key takeaway though is successful SaaS companies balance flexibility and consistency. HubSpot actually does this really, really well. They offer localized pricing for different markets, dynamic upgrades as customers grow, and strategic discounts during promotions. It's not all the time, but at specific times. Most importantly, and I think this is the key, is maintaining transparency throughout their pricing process. Yeah, I talked before about going to a website and something was like 5 grand. And I'm like, I don't know, kind of thinking about it. And then I go back and it's 1,500. I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't buy it five. Yeah. So it's really that transparency in the pricing process and really understanding what that process is. Take the customers along that journey with you and make sure that they understand the value. Customers have to know what they're paying for. And that trust drives both adoption and loyalty. HubSpot's approach to navigating modern pricing complexity isn't just about adjusting numbers. It's not just like tweaking it for this locality and that one. It's about really aligning value with customer expectations at every single level. Every one of those tiers has a specific value proposition, and there's a reason that you would choose one over another. Very, very well thought out. If you haven't looked lately, go look at their pricing model and think about that and how it relates to what you do and think about what is the value of this one, why this one, why are these things in this one versus the next one versus the next one. As pricing is more complex for us as founders and leaders, we have to make absolutely sure that it doesn't become that way for our clients. Simplicity and trust win always. How are you navigating the complexities of SaaS pricing? Is it getting easier? Is it getting harder? Is it more complex? Share your experiences in the comments and be sure to subscribe for more insights. Check out the next video for deeper dives into customer retention strategies. Thanks for hanging out this week, SaaS Pricing Week, and let's master the art of SaaS pricing together.